Good evening, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update. And in the news this evening, body of man who washed away in gully found. The body of the man who was swept away by floodwaters on Tuesday has been found near Majestic Gardens in St. Andrew. He was one of two persons who were washed into a gully in Content Drive off Malines Road in the parish during heavy rains. However, the other person, a woman, was later rescued by residents on Chesterfield Drive in Seaview Gardens. She was brought to the hospital for medical treatment. According to authorities, the man and the woman were attempting to cross the flooded gully when disaster struck. There was heavy rainfall in sections of Kingston and St. Andrew when the incident occurred. 6 people injured in New Kingston Burger King explosion. 6 people are believed to have suffered injuries in an explosion at a Burger King in New Kingston this morning. No fatalities have been reported. Senior Superintendent at the Jamaica Fire Brigade, Patrick Gooden, says that the brigade responded to the call at 10:36 a.m. that the building at 61 Knutsford Boulevard was on fire. On arrival of the unit, we discovered that there was an incident that resulted in 6 persons being transferred to the hospital before the arrival of the brigade. Observation revealed that extensive damage have been done to the building as a result of the explosion, he said. Gooden said the brigade had heard reports of a gas leak being the possible cause of the explosion. However, the senior officer said investigation is ongoing to definitively confirm the cause of the explosion and whether any adjacent buildings were damaged. Meanwhile, a Good Samaritan, Paul Brown, who escaped the injuries during the blast, said at least 2 of the injured workers appeared to have suffered serious injuries. According to him, you can literally see them skin a drop off. Brown said he had just stepped inside the restaurant when the explosion happened and its impact pushed him outside. After regaining his balance, Brown said he assisted screaming workers who had suffered burns mainly to their hands. Unidentified man shot and killed in Frazer's Content. The St. Catherine North Police are investigating the fatal shooting of an unidentified man in Frazer's Content on Tuesday. About 6:40 p.m., the deceased was reportedly in the community when a white Toyota Probox motorcar drove by. Shots were fired from the vehicle, hitting the man. He was assisted to the Spanish Town Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. The Spanish Town Criminal Investigations Branch is carrying out a probe of the matter. Assistant Returning Officer resigns after PNP caretaker raises concerns ahead of St. Ann Northeast by-election. The Electoral Office of Jamaica has confirmed that an assistant returning officer has resigned as a result of an investigation into concerns raised by People's National Party caretaker for St. Ann Northeast constituency, Dr. Ryan Simpson. Following Marsha Smith's resignation, a member of Parliament for the constituency, a by-election was called for September 30, with a nomination day set for today. Former Jamaica Labour Party Senator Matthew Samuda is said to be nominated for the governing party, while the PNP has indicated it would not be contesting the by-election, instead focusing on the general election, constitutionally due by next year. Yesterday, the news obtained a copy of a letter dated September 3, 2024, addressed to Commissioner Wentworth Skeffrey, PNP representative on the Electoral Commission of Jamaica, and signed by Glasspool Brown, Director of Elections, that confirmed an investigation was ongoing with regard to the concerns raised by Simpson. Brown, however, did not provide any details around the issue that led to the investigation. We have taken note of the correspondence from Dr. Ryan Simpson, the PNP caretaker for the constituency of St. Ann Northeast, regarding the subject matter. We are carrying out the necessary investigation of the concerns highlighted by Dr. Simpson and will provide an update to you when it is completed, Brown said in the letter. As a result of the investigation, Brown noted the assistant returning officer, who he identified as Mrs. Brown Dean, tendered her resignation from the position effective August 29. Please be assured that the integrity, transparency, and the fairness of EOJ-ECJ operation and action is of paramount importance, Brown concluded. Independent candidate David Fritz Anderson nominated in St. Ann Northeast. Independent candidate David Fritz Anderson completed his nomination for the St. Ann Northeastern by-election at 11 a.m. on Wednesday. Anderson was dressed in a white suit with a yellow undershirt. He was joined by supporters also wearing yellow. His supporters accompanied him into the center where they observed his nomination process. Following his nomination, Anderson told the news, "I've always been a representative of the people. Politics is just a way to reach more people." Mechanic gets suspended sentence for having stolen police car. A 40-year-old mechanic who pleaded guilty to receiving a stolen police vehicle was given a suspended sentence in the St. Catherine Parish Court yesterday. He is Maguel Francis, otherwise called Winnie, from RNM Gardens, Kingston. Attorney-at-law Kamisha Harrison submitted to the court that there was no forensic evidence against her client and the offense of larceny of a motor vehicle could not be made out. The only evidence was his admittance of the motor vehicle recovery at his place. Therefore, he is culpable of receiving, Harrison said. The submission was upheld and Francis was sentenced by Parish Judge Andrea English Myers to 1 year in prison, suspended for 2 years. The court was told that a policeman's unmarked Toyota Probox service vehicle was stolen on December 23, 2022 in Greater Portmore. The motor car was recovered 6 hours later in Francis's garage in RNM Gardens, Kingston. Taximan says a passenger choked him. A corporate air taxi operator is eager to take the witness stand to prove his point that a female passenger choked him. That was shared by attorney-at-law C.J. Mitchell, who represents the taxi driver Andrew Griffiths, who is before the Kingston and the St. Andrew Parish Court for assault. Brief allegations shared in court claim that the complainant, a female, was a passenger of Griffiths' taxi and was told to exit the vehicle. She refused and was allegedly pulled from the vehicle by Griffiths. However, Mitchell said his client disputes the complainant's claim of assault. She was a passenger of the vehicle and she was quarrelsome and vexatious. And he told her, "I don't need you in my vehicle," and told her to come out. If he held her, it would be in self-defense because she pulled him and choked him, the senior attorney explained. He went to the police and they did not take his report, Mitchell argued further. But Senior Parish Judge Sanchez Burrell was not convinced by the lawyer's submissions. "I don't think he went around to her door and gently took her out of the vehicle. I'm trying to grasp the logistics of how she could have choked this man. This woman just jumped out of the car and started to choke him. Clearly there are some men who are useless in defending themselves," the judge said. Mitchell indicated that his client was prepared to go to trial to prove his innocence. The matter is set for trial on November 11. Grandson's alleged $1.5 million theft sparks emotional outburst from grandma. An elderly woman wept openly in court on Monday after her grandson, who she alleges stole $1.5 million from her, indicated he would not be making full restitution. "My daughter called me from foreign yesterday and said I must take the money that he is giving me. I just tired of it. Just want to finish the case," the elderly woman said in between tears. Tremaine Emmanuel pleaded guilty to housebreaking and larceny after being before the court for almost 6 months. It was reported that he stole $1.5 million, the complainant's life savings. The monies were stored in the woman's bedroom as well as a whatnot. "I had a bad experience with the bank. That's why I keep it in the house," the complainant said at the first court hearing. But Emmanuel disputed the sum, claiming he only stole $500,000. "This man has called down trouble on his head for what he did to his grandmother. It is wicked. He may live a hard life. He may not even die young," Senior Parish Judge Sanchez Burrell said. The defendant was offered bail in the sum of $250,000 with sureties. A stricter condition was imposed that he does not visit his grandmother's home. Burrell indicated further that Emmanuel, while on bail, could make payment to his grandmother. but the complainant quickly objected. "I don't want him to give me any money. The prosecutors have my number. Let him pay it at the court office, and I will collect it at another time. Let them call me when it's ready," she added. Emmanuel is also required to report to the police 3 times weekly and to surrender his travel documents. He was made the subject of a fingerprint order, and the social inquiry report was requested by the judge to assist with sentencing on December 6. "I need him to tell me why I shouldn't send him to prison, especially after hearing those aggravating factors," Judge Borrell said. Thank you everyone for watching. See you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for another news update.